Alright, good morning. Trying to clean up some videos because I've not done them in a while. But this is for the AMSOIL BMK bypass oil filter. Okay, this will be the second video that I do. Well, I've created anyway. Here is the oil, and I'll talk more about that later. I think I have 5,000 miles on it, not a little more, a little less, and that's what the oil looks like. It's black, of course, but I notice no soot. I've moved this around, and earlier when I would drain the oil with just a carbon filter, there would be little particles that were small, I mean tiny, but you could see that they accumulated, and that was basically the soot. So let me zoom out, and then I'm going to get this covered. So stand by. I'm going to stop the video for a second and get this oil mess out of the way. I sent the sample into Blackstone Labs, so let me stop. Okay, continuing on, this is basically the oil bypass system. And these are the filters, and here is the report. Okay, the EaO26 is the filter. They say that it's 25,000 miles. They got some information on how good the filter is. Let me make sure we got a shot of that. This is how the units come, packaged well, and the same with the EaBP filter. Here they have their comparison to other filters, and they appear to be well constructed. This likewise comes with the package well in the box. I think I bought 5 or 10 sets. Okay, let's see. That's all I want to say about that. So let me get these over. Now, these are readings that I have that I took from my engine oil, the same engine oil. I'll talk that in a few minutes. Rotella T with some Archoil in it. And these are just line items, and when I did the miles, I unfortunately did not write them all down very well. These are the mileages. This is the oil life remaining at the time. I did a mathematical calculation, real simple subtraction, and that basically is the oil life that was used. And the oil 1% was calculated, and as you can see, over time, at the start it was 80 miles, but that's a very small sample. Then at 40, and this is all generated from the computer on board the truck. I get this out of the ODB2 connector using my BB Fly. And as you can see, as time went on and the mileage went higher, that 1% calculation went lower, and these were the calculated miles that I could go. Now, turning to when I added the bypass filter in the 2 units, understanding that I have more oil in there, a quart. These are the readings that I got, and I did much better with this on the days, the miles I have, the oil life percentage remaining, which is when we have oil life used, And as you see at the beginning, like I said, there are small sample sizes. Then as it went, it started to increase to many more miles for 1%. So it's on track to actually have basically go a longer distance. And right now, with 28% remaining, I'm calculating that I can go out to 8366. Now this is all generated from the computer. People say that they can go a year and go 12,000 or whatever miles, but according to my computer, you shouldn't. And of course, I don't know, that's a determination that you have to make. But there's people that sell kind of various types of oil, part of which I own the filters for. I use a different oil, but that's that. So let me stop the video for a minute. This is the lab report I got from Blackstone. Okay, I have my truck. Okay, talk about the engine, and I'll do another video on what these sample things come like, possibly. But the oil use interval, I had basically 5,500 miles on it. Right now on the truck, I have 61,000. It has here, let me make sure we can read this, so you can read what they say. I'm not going to read it for you, but I don't know if that's good or bad. Let's just assume the camera's going to work. Sorry. Okay. And it says, thanks for letting them know that I have Archoil in it, because it puts a lot of potassium and boron into the oil, and so they can calculate and understand what it is and how they work around it, and they won't assume any of the inputs or whatever in the oil is going to cause, not issues, but anything that's in the oil they'll understand, so they can meter it out like they discuss based on coolant. Okay. They're saying the TBN count at the bottom line is good, and I should be going between 7,500 and 8,000 miles. So I question some of those who say that they can do analysis from another company that you can run that length of distance, but the folks at Blackstone, which sample the oil, one of a couple of companies that I'm aware of, say otherwise. So let me go through where you can see the averages, what they typically are, and what I have in my vehicle. And nothing and everything is copacetic as I read through it. Okay, the percent of fuel here, I drew a line. The fuel percentage in the oil is less than 25% of what the minimum level is, so that's wonderful for a 61,000 mile engine. So I'm not leaking anything internally. And going to the second page, here's what you have. The listing is basically says potassium cyanide coolant, and it's basically the same line. Let's see, the value, okay, the odometer, the aluminum samples, and then over here on, well, it's over here, standing, the camera skewed, forgive me. This is what the Blackstone report looks like for my truck, and I'm happy with it. So that is all I have at the moment. I'll be discussing the oils and things that I use here shortly. Stand by. All right, let's see. The engine oil I use and why. All right, Ford has a specification. I wrote this down. It's WSS-M2C171-F1. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. All right. So looking into the great internet, I went online, and this is the viscosity I use, and this meets the diesel motor oils meeting the Ford specification. Now there's 10 pages to this. I didn't print them all out because my oil that I use is right here, Rotella T6 full synthetic 5W40 by Shell Lubricants. I did look up, and oddly enough, there were a few companies, one of which who makes very good filters, doesn't have an engine oil that's listed here for whatever reason. But this is the list that Ford recommends. This is the Rotella T6 full synthetic. It's not cheap, but it can be had at Walmart store, or I have it delivered. Let's see, I'm going to pick this up and try and go, and if you take a look across here on this line here, it says that it meets that Ford specification right there. Okay, so this is the engine oil that I use. My truck, I've had, this is, let's see, used it for 2 oil changes, so we're getting on to about 16,000 miles. Earlier I used the Ford oil, but I gave up on the local Ford dealership, to be honest with you, and so I'm just not going to be getting Ford oil. And it's cheaper and better to get Rotella T, and I think it's also kind of a standard in the trucking industry. I know I use the stuff in my tractors. I prefer Shell and Mobil 1, Rotella T and Mobil 1, frankly. Okay, but that's a choice. If you meet the spec, you're okay. Let me stop the video again. Okay, let's see. Additives that I put in with my Rotella T. One is this right here, Archoil AR 9100 friction modifier. That goes into the oil. Follow their directions. It has worked for me, and I did get increased gas mileage with this. The first thing I put in though was this right here, and this is another Archoil product. This is the way it comes packaged. Okay, they have it sealed. They have it in its own blanket here in case the bottle breaks, that this absorbs. This is Absorb Mat, and this is Archoil, okay, 6200, and it actually also works very well. I got increased mileage with this. This was the first thing I used from Archoil in my truck. The mileage went better, and it also lubricates on older systems, and I use it in the tractors that I have because the diesel fuel is cycled through the system and returned. I have a Kubota lawnmower with a 3-cylinder diesel engine that ran better after I put this in for a while, and I also use the friction modifier in both the engine on the Kubota, and I also put it in the transfer case. It has a transfer case that spins at high speed, the 3 sets of blades on it, and it calmed it down, and it works. I believe in this product. I don't know what's in it because no one will tell you what's in any of their special stuff, except all their stuff is better than everybody else's. But this combo works for me. Will it work for you? I do not know. So I guess that is all I have for this. I'm going to do another video on the Blackstone report. Thank you.